Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Shri Hanuma Bhima Madhvantargata Ramakrishna Vedavyasatmaka Lakshmi Hayagrivaya Namaha. Namaskara of Srinivasan Pranesh to all Sajjanas. We are going through a series of discourses under the title Vedās and Unbiased View, and we are now in the 21st episode of this series of discourses. So in the previous part, we went through the Cāruvāka Vada. So Cāruvāka are the materialists. So Charu means attractive, Vak means words. So one who delivers attractive words. This is Cāruvāka. But their words are not attractive and they don't believe in the words at all. I will come to that later. So as per their principles, they believe only in the sensual perception. They don't believe in inference or Āgama. We went through that there are three means of knowledge, or the three instruments of knowledge. That is the sensual perception, inference or reasoning, and the Āgama or the defectless words or the scriptures. So they believe only in the sensual perception. For them, there is no God, there is no soul, there is nothing that they can't perceive. So they don't believe in anything that they can't perceive. So the body is everything for them. The body is self. So when we ask how the consciousness comes to the body, then they say the mere combination of all the elements of nature brings the consciousness to the body. So that we will go through later. We will refute this view. We will go through later. So they don't believe in anything. They don't believe in rebirth. They don't believe in the fruits of karma. They don't believe in heaven and hell. They don't believe in punya, papa. They don't believe in dharma, adharma by their principles, because all these cannot be sensually perceived. They believe only in the sense perception. So all the Vedic injunctions, the practices, the do's and don'ts in the Vedas, the Vedic practices, the prayers suggested or recommended by the Vedas, the do's and don'ts in the fire rituals, all such things, the Vedic injunctions are all given to the society by a class called the Brahmins, that is the Rishis and the later Brahmins, just to fill their stomach and to cheat the society for the Brahmins' own survival. This is the criticism of Cāruvāka against the Brahmins, which we can see even in today's social media. Whichever post we see, they are all debating on these lines. So in nowadays, the Cāruvāka has transformed into various beliefs. Various beliefs are derived from Cāruvāka, like the Periarism, communism, and even common people, so many people, those who say they don't believe in Periarism and communism and such beliefs also, they still live matching the Cāruvāka principles, because they don't research God, so many don't believe in the religions. So they think enjoyment is their primary goal in life. They just want to earn 5 days in a week, enjoy the weekend. Again earn 5 days a week, enjoy the weekend. So enjoy as much as you can. So enjoyment is the only goal. So this is nothing but the principle of Cāruvāka only. So what I'm trying to say is not only the beliefs like the Periarism, communism, even common public, most of the common public behaves like Cāruvāka nowadays. So we went through the background of the Cāruvāka. I told that the Devaguru Brihaspatacharya himself gave the Cāruvāka principle to push down from heaven, that is Indraloka, the 500 sons of the king Raji. So that was the root grantha. Brihaspatacharya gave the root grantha of Cāruvāka, and later so many people adopted this, and so many gurus have come in the Cāruvāka. They have given their own works, all that based on the Brihaspati's work. But the original root work is by Brihaspatacharya, that was given for a purpose. So we went through the story of King Raji, the Deva Asura Yuddha, all that in the previous episode. And then even in today's social media, whenever we discuss about the religions, we say that science is religion. Then they say no, science is different, and they say the religion is not scientific. The Cāruvāka speak as if they believe in science, but the science is also essentially the part of religion. It is not separate. The modern scientists may deny my statement. They may say they don't agree with it, but the science believes in that. As I told, my revered preceptor has given very good lectures on this to us during the class times. Science actually believes in cause and effect. So what is karma? It is the cause and effect. When you do a good thing, you are rewarded. When you do a bad thing that is prohibited, then you incur sin and you face pain. So this is the cause and effect, or karma, that the religion speaks about. So even in the science, say for example, take medical science. So when doctor's advice is followed, then we get out of the disease, and that is the reward to us. We come out of the pain. And when doctor's advice is not followed, then the disease gets severe, and the effect is that we face more pain and more disease. The disease gets worsened. So who says science does not believe in this cause and effect? So in my view, the Cāruvākas does not have any rights to say whether a religion is scientific or not, because even the science principles are not aligned with the Cāruvāka principles. Science believes in what can't be seen as well. Right? So that is what we tried to say in the previous episode. In fact, in olden days, there existed a branch called medical astrology. I have a book where they have mentioned that in olden days, all the doctors, they also knew astrology, because they felt that because of the planetary positions only, the people get the diseases. And the planetary positions are based on the past life events of the soul. That is based on their karma phala. The planetary positions will be arranged by the god. That means they will be born in such a time where the planetary positions give them the diseases. So the doctors believed that the diseases are result of some sins in the previous birth. And any doctor who treated the patients, they of course prescribed the medicines, but along with that, they also looked into the planetary positions of the patient, their horoscope, and they suggested some parihara as well to nullify the previous karma. And they strongly believed by nullifying that karma only, even the medicine will work and give them cure. So there is a separate field called medical astrology, and people, those who are interested, may further research on that. And we went through the Cāruvāka principles from a common man's perspective in the previous episode. Based on our common sense, we analyzed and said, whenever we feel hungry, we infer that eating something will pacify the hunger, and we eat. Whenever we drink water, we infer that drinking water will pacify our thirst, and we drink. When we go for a treatment, the doctor obviously uses inference many times, and we get treated, and so on. And even if somebody has to be declared dead, then the doctor gives his reasoning. That is, he says, there is no pulse, there is no heartbeat, there is no breath seen, and there is a drop in temperature. So based on these effects, so it is reasoned or inferred that a certain person is dead, and then he is cremated or buried or whatever has to be done, it is done. So Cāruvāka, by their own principles, they can't even declare a person as dead, because they don't believe in inference or reasoning. They believe only in perception. And if they try to survive by eating food, by drinking water, by taking some medical treatment, so when they try to survive, they get defeated by their own principles. So when they declare somebody is dead, they get defeated by their own principles. So they can neither survive nor die. If they try to do anything, they get defeated based on their own principles, and such a principle is useless, and they are pushed to a situation where by their own principles they are unfit for survival, and they are unfit even to be dead. So this much we have gone through in the previous part about the Cāruvāka. Now in this part 21, let us get into slight philosophical debates or criticisms, I would say, because Cāruvākas are unfit for a debate. So Cāruvākas are criticized by the philosophers. So before getting into the debates based on or the criticisms based on Srimad Vishnu Tattva Vinirnaya of Sri Madhvacharya, let us slightly touch upon a grantha named Yukti Mallika. I told Yukti means logic. Yukti Mallika is written by the saint named Sri Vadiraja Tirtha, and he debated Cāruvākas and torn them into pieces. So let us slightly get into that and have a review of this Cāruvāka principle, and then we will get back to the Dharma Adharma discussions that we are doing based on Srimad Vishnu Tattva Vinirnaya of Sri Madhvacharya. Now, perception. So Cāruvākas believe only in the sensual perception. They don't believe in Āgama. They don't believe in Anumāna or inference. We already went through that there are three means of knowledge. So among that, they believe only in perception. And enjoyment is their only goal. So you have a Bhautika Sukha, you have sexual pleasures, you have whatever food you want, let it be non-veg, let it be even cow flesh, or let it be onion, let it be garlic, no restrictions on that. So you have drinks that you want, I mean the alcohol, you smoke and spoil others, spoil yourself, whatever you want you can do as per Cāruvāka principle. So enjoyment, whatever gives enjoyment to one person, he can do that. There is no dharma, adharma. There are no injunctions. That means there are no do's and don'ts. All scriptures are just given by somebody to cheat the society, to fill their stomach. So nobody has to follow that. They can enjoy their life. This is the main goal of the Cāruvāka. So they prescribe enjoyment. Body is everything. So as long as till you live, as long as you live, till you live, enjoy. That's all. And this is attractive to many people. We see that people of today are doing all these things, thinking that is the enjoyment. Actually, drinking alcohol or supporting the drinking of alcohol, both are given as greatest sins by the scriptures, the Pancha Mahapataka. That is the 5 greatest sins. Drinking alcohol comes under that. And some people say that they will not drink, but they buy drinks to others and they celebrate the parties. Such thing is also prohibited, because not only drinking alcohol, but supporting that activity is also called as the greatest sin by the scripture. So when people, those who believe in the scriptures, say that drinking is sin, but people, they have itcha to drink, they like to drink. And Cāruvāka comes and says, you don't have to believe in scriptural injunctions, you just go and drink if you think that is the enjoyment. Then people do, they feel it is attractive, right? So the Cāruvāka principles are very attractive to the people, and that is why they are called Cāruvāka. As I told, Charu means attractive, Vak means words. So they deliver attractive words to the people, and hence people are very happy to follow it. On the contrary, the religion has so many do's and don'ts. So they prescribe what will please God and what will not please God. And they ask us to leave all that won't please God. And they ask us to do whatever will please God. So they ask that the scriptures mandates upavasa, ekadashi upavasa, and then they ask you to get up early in the morning by 4:30. So after having full drinks in the night, how one can get up early in the morning? But the scriptures prescribes waking up early in the morning in the Brahma Muhurta, and then they suggest karmanushtana. So all those things looks very difficult for the people. So those who think that enjoyment is the only goal in their life are naturally inclined towards the Cāruvāka principles. They are attracted towards the Cāruvāka principles. Now, from the epistemology perspective, let us see how Cāruvāka is a stupid philosophy. And then let us get into the discussions on the Dharma, Adharma again later. So, from the epistemology, from the pramanas, the Cāruvāka believe only in the sensual perception. They don't believe in Āgama or Anumāna. Let us take the Āgama first. So what we defined as Āgama, Nirdosha Shabda, that we told as Āgama. That means the defect-free words or the defectless words is called Āgama. So we have to note that. So under Āgama, Vedas also are there. All Shadagama we discussed. That is the 4 Vedas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and entire Pancharatra, and anything that does not conflict with it. All these are Āgama as per the definitions of the Vedantins. That is the Madhva Siddhanta based on Brahmanda Purana. So let us keep that aside. Basically, what is the definition of Āgama? The defectless words. So let the Cāruvākas don't believe in the Vedas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, all that. But they cannot say the defectless words does not exist. They cannot say that the defectless words does not exist, right? So if they say so, then how they will preach their philosophy to their own students? So by saying that Cāruvāka don't believe in Āgama, basically they say that the Cāruvākas don't believe in something called the defectless words. Let us forget the Vedas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Pancharatra, all that. As per their view, these are all given by the Brahmins to cheat the society. So let it be on one side. We will come to that later. But basically, they say they don't believe in defectless words now. Right? Now, the Cāruvāka philosophy also have got a guru. They also have got disciples. They preach it seriously to their disciples, and that is how Cāruvāka had been existing starting from the Brihaspatacharya. It was present even before, but Brihaspatacharya revealed it to the world. So even the Cāruvāka, they have Guru Śiṣyā. They have gurus and the disciples who are taught by the guru. Now, how does the guru teach to the students that sensual perception alone is pramāṇa? 2 words, right? Anybody, you go to the school, so the teacher use words to teach. And let us go to a Gurukula, the guru uses words to teach. Similarly, the Cāruvāka also use words to teach their disciples. And that is how their philosophy is existing till today. You take Periyarism, communism, anything, that is preached by somebody to others. People go to the stage, they have mics today, and they speak communism, Periyarism, and they debate in the public channels. So they basically use words. They teach to their disciples using the words. So the Cāruvāka has to preach his philosophy as defectless words only, right? Nobody can come and say that, sir, my words are defective and this is my philosophy. So if what the Cāruvāka say is true, that is the truth, then their words have to be defectless. So they have to accept that their preachings and their words are defectless. So Cāruvāka, basically, they shall mandatorily believe in the defectless words. Otherwise, they cannot teach their philosophy to others. So after preaching that the Cāruvāka philosophy to the disciples using the words, if the Cāruvāka guru says, I don't believe in the words, I believe only in the sensual perception, I don't believe in the words, but I am speaking words, so please believe my words, then is this not self-contradicting? So the disciples themselves will laugh at their guru for giving such an advice or teaching. And any man who has common sense will laugh at their guru for such a teaching. Whoever knows even the basic logic. And despite if some student is taking this preaching as very serious and they try to follow it, then it means the students are as stupid as their guru. They are distilled idiots. That's all. What else we can say? I am not telling they are distilled idiots. By their own principles, they are proving that they are stupid. That is what I am saying. I'm not criticizing anybody directly. I'm not trying to hurt anybody, but I'm saying the principles of the Cāruvāka, which leads to such a conclusion only. So if taken seriously by the students without laughing, then they are as stupid as their guru. isn't it a stupidity? You please think deeply. Don't think that I am pouring my anger on somebody. I don't have anger on anybody. That our topic itself is unbiased view. So I am giving unbiased view only. So the Cāruvākas say they don't believe in defectless words. And if we see how they preach their philosophy to others, it is through words. So if a guru says, I don't believe in defectless words, but I am saying defectless words, that pratyaksha alone is pramāṇa, and you have to trust my defectless words. But basically our philosophy don't believe in defectless words. Is this a philosophy? Is this a teaching? Is this intelligent teaching? You please decide yourself. Think and decide yourself. So, teaching through the apramāṇika words, how can disciples get yathartha jnana? We already went through what is yathartha jnana. Yathartha jnana means that is the true jnana, that is the true cognition, that is the truth. So even Cāruvāka says they are preaching the truth. See, they don't agree with the Vedantists. They criticize the Vedantists, they criticize the Brahmins, they criticize Vedas, scriptures, everything. Let it be on one side. But what the Cāruvākas are trying to establish, they are trying to say that they are also establishing the truth. They say enjoyment is the only truth and prescribe that to whoever follow them. So they also try to give yathartha jnana. They say they are giving yathartha jnana. Whether that is yathartha jnana or not is different. Vedantins don't accept that as yathartha jnana. But they also say their philosophy is giving yathartha jnana. So yathartha jnana, after saying that the words are apramāṇika, they are not pramāṇa, but still they teach using the words. So from the apramāṇika words, how can yathartha jnana be born? That way they miserably fail. So Cāruvāka, who don't believe in the defectless words or the words, they shall just forever shut their mouth and they can't speak. Because the moment they try to speak, they stand defeated on their own grounds because they don't believe in the words. They either have to agree that their words are defective words. In that case, they fail. If they say their words are defectless, then also they fail because Āgama means defectless words. And they say they don't believe in Āgama. They don't believe in defectless words. But they teach using words. So this is a self-contradiction in their philosophy. So the philosophy that don't accept in defectless words as pramāṇa is useless. And the moment they use words, they speak, they teach their philosophy to their disciples, then they stand defeated on their own grounds. So if one does not believe in defectless words, then he can't proceed to teach his philosophy to others in first place. His philosophy will also be dead with the guru itself. It cannot go to the disciples, because if the guru tries to preach his disciples, then they stand defeated on their own grounds. So if they don't accept Shabda, they fail miserably, right? If they say they don't accept in defectless words or the Āgama, they fail. Now, after such a big debate, when they are forced to accept the defectless sounds, in case they say, now I agree to the words, then also they stand defeated. Because their basic principle is that they don't believe in the defectless words. So, whether you accept the defectless words, then the philosophy stands defeated. If they don't accept the defectless words, then also they stand defeated. So you can neither go this side nor that side. Such a philosophy is Cāruvāka, and such easy is the method to defeat them, because they stand defeated on their own principles. If they accept Shabda, they are defeated. If they don't accept Shabda, they are defeated by their own principles. Now, in a debate, I say Cāruvāka philosophy is a useless philosophy. So if the opponent, that is the Cāruvāka, if he opens his mouth and tries to utter some words, then he stands defeated on his own principle. Even if not, he even if they don't open their mouth, they still stand defeated, because the opponent, that is the Vedantin, is saying they are useless. They necessarily have to defeat defeat the opponent. They have to argue, they have to debate, so they have to defend themselves. But if they keep quiet, they stand defeated, and if they open their mouth also, they stand defeated on their own principles. Similarly, they don't believe in inference also. So what is inference? What was our definition for inference based on Pramana Paddhati? We said defectless reasoning is inference. So basically it is the reasoning. Now let us say we get into a debate. They are unfit for a debate, but let us assume we get into a debate with the Cāruvāka. So in that debate, if I say God is present, then he says there is no God. If I say soul is there, he says there is no soul. If I say karma phala is there, he says there is no karma phala. If I say heaven, hell are there, he says there is no heaven and hell, and so on. Now, if the Vedantin asks a question to them on how do they refute this, how do they say that there is no God, there is no soul, there is no dharma, there is no heaven, hell, etc., then they have to counter debate. They have to give reasons for why they don't believe in those, right? But these people don't believe in reasons. They don't believe in reasoning. They don't believe in inference. So in that case, how will they reason for their beliefs, and how they will prove that their side is right? So to participate in a debate, as a minimum, you shall believe in inference apart from the perception, right? So the people, those who don't even believe in reasoning, they cannot debate. So to debate, somebody needs to believe in reasoning or inference as a minimum. So the moment the Cāruvāka opens a debate, they stand defeated on their own grounds. So they are unfit for a debate. This is why we say Cāruvāka are unfit for a debate. And hence, while we debate with the Buddhists and Jains, Vedantins call it a debate because they believe in inference apart from the perception. And when we debate with Nayayikas, Sankhya, all that can be very well called a debate, because those opponents believe in perception, inference, and Vedas as well. That is Āgamas as well. Now, Cāruvāka, they don't even believe in inference, and they don't even believe in Āgamas. They believe only in pure sensual perception, in which the moment they open a debate, they stand defeated on their own grounds. And that is why we don't call it a Cāruvāka debate. Instead, we say Cāruvāka criticism, because they are unfit for a debate. So, Cāruvāka, who don't even believe in defectless reasoning and defectless words, they cannot participate in a debate. So what they can do, if they go to some place, if somebody is debating or somebody is saying their philosophy is right, so these Cāruvāka, they just have to keep quiet. I'm saying as per their own principles. They just have to keep quiet. They have to keep their mouth shut. They can perceive whatever they can perceive through their senses, because they believe in the sensual perception. So they can perceive whatever they want and silently leave the place. That is all. And that is why Cāruvāka are only criticized and not debated. And they don't believe in inference. They don't believe in words. So the moment they open a debate, they stand defeated. The moment they try to teach their philosophy to somebody, to their Śiṣyās, then they stand defeated on their own grounds. So such a stupid philosophy is the Cāruvāka philosophy, and it is a real surprise that this philosophy is being adopted by a large mass of people nowadays. Maybe this is Kali Yuga, and the dharma will naturally diminish in this yuga, because Bhagavata says if we assume a cow is standing on 4 legs, then each leg is cut after one yuga, the Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and that cow, which is dharma, is now standing on 1 leg. So naturally only 1/4 of the dharma exists now in comparison with the Krita Yuga. So this is Kali Yuga, and naturally many people will be inclined towards Cāruvāka. There is no doubt about that. However, one who wish to know God, one who wish to attain God, one who wants to get out of this pain of samsara, that is the birth and death cycle, and most importantly, one who wants to know the truth, then Cāruvāka philosophy is unfit for them. So we discussed about the Cāruvāka epistemology in this episode, where we said Cāruvāka believes only in perception, and if they believe only in perception, then they will become unfit for a debate, they will become unfit for preaching, and then they will be unfit even for survival, they will be unfit even to declare somebody is dead, they will become unfit for a medical treatment, and so on. So Cāruvāka is a completely defeated philosophy several thousand years back by our ancestors, and we just have to read all these things and realize that how stupid the Cāruvāka philosophy is. And those who want to seek truth, we have to try to get out of this Cāruvāka philosophy, and that is why all these things are given now. So when it comes to the body, they say the combination of the elements of nature itself brings the consciousness, all that, because they don't believe in soul, God, all these things. So this debate, and I mean the refutation of this belief, and then what Sri Madhvacharya says about the belief in dharma, adharma, with respect to the Cāruvākas, all these things, let us see in the next episode. I will conclude this episode with this contents. Thank you for patiently watching. Sarvam Sri Krishna Padamastu.